All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I wanted to do a quick update video on my updated summoning plan and what I'm doing moving forward, considering the artifact system, the necessity of dupes, and more information kind of coming in about the idea of like moving to 15 stars versus 10 stars and how to kind of balance all these different things out. The thing that I really want to kind of foreground this video with is by saying the most important thing moving forward is you need to invest in 5 characters. Now, I know across this game there are numerous game modes that require you to have different characters that do like you want red, blue, mighty, agile, and tactile, right? Red, blue, green.
Sure.
I think that's all very important, but the thing is the primary component of this game requires one really strong team. And what I want to show about that is that when we go to the multiverse, there's a few things that you really need to get like far in. And the most important thing before you even go to multiverse is you need to be progressing the story as fast as possible. It is the most important thing you need to be doing, and you need a good 5 characters to do that. I'm waiting today. I'm going to push farther today. I've been kind of getting my characters up, and then I'm going to stream later today, or I streamed a couple days ago. But the point is I am pushing this in a way that gets me as far as possible, right? And I'm a little stuck right now, and that's just because my Hal's in a good spot, my other teammates are not in a good spot. I need to be summoning for a little bit better artifacts. I need some better gear. I'm kind of running into a wall with badges. Badges are creating some problems for me in terms of like I need to get my characters. They do offer quite a bit in terms of power, and I'm waiting for one more support that will kind of push my team to the next level. Which I've already released a video on, and I'm very excited about this new character coming out, which will hopefully be here soon. So let's talk a little bit about why 5 characters. Now, I know in Convergence, you want all over the place. You got all these different characters that you want. If you have a really strong character, they can kind of carry you through a lot of it. And this is like a good resource. I consider this more of like a helpful tool to kind of push your stuff forward. You need 5 for the arena, and that's where you really want to invest your points. Elite Arena is nice and all. I'm ring 36 right now and Diamond 3. But the thing with that is that I'm just going to say this is kind of like, don't spread your resources out too far on all these different characters, because that's not how I'm operating, because then you're going to run into a lot of issues in terms of like progressing the story faster, because rather than having 5 really strong characters with good artifacts on them, you are going to have 10 characters that are somewhat strong and that maybe aren't fully rank 8 that you're going to be running into issues with in progressing the story. But and then what's going to happen is these other people are going to be progressing the story faster. They're going to get more resources and they're going to outpace you, right? So even in an elite arena, you don't want to spread this out. You want to think, okay, I'm going to have 5 core strong characters, and then getting everyone else up to a stronger level is secondary. That's how you want to think about this. Outside of your 5, anything else that I would say, okay, start working on a secondary team that doesn't use any of the 5 that you're working on in the main team, and you have a secondary team for that, and work on that and begin working on that one as you progress, right? But you really want to be making sure you're getting that main team up. Crisis Watch, 5 characters, right? Team Up, 5 characters. Arena, 5 characters. Evil Falls, 5 characters, right? So you're looking at this. There's a lot of events in this game that are about having those strong 5 characters and progressing forward with those characters. And so I say all of this because, there's people are like, well, you could spend on I would really just pick the 5 and then go from there. 5 that synergize well with each other. For me right now, I'm just going to show you where I'm at. I am working on, as you can see, I started out kind of spreading everything out, and that was a problem. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to pick 5, right? And mine are Hal, Lex, John, and Jessica Cruz. Those 4 right now are the main characters that I am working on, with Zatanna being the kind of like, what's the right word I'm looking for here? The all-purpose support that can be replaced later, but she slots into any team, so she's really good in that regard. I'm pivoting out of Wonder Woman. That was some extra resources there, but at the same time, I only have enough to get these these 4 to rank 8 right now, because I'm also running into the issue of elite shards. Those they become an issue, because I'm just going to show you, for instance, for Hal Jordan, when I want to rank him up next, I need a copy and a half of him, and a little bit more than a copy and a half, and 500 elite shards. That means you have to have pulled an elite 50 times, right? Because you get 10 shards per elite pull. You need 50 pulls to make 500. 50 times 10, boom shakalaka. So all of this is to say, what are my plans moving forward to summon? I think this is how you want to be operating. Now, let's talk about artifacts. And I want to highlight artifacts in the sense that what they do to your characters. They are enormous stat buffs on top of ability buffs to your characters. They do some pretty crazy stuff, and they can enable characters to do some pretty gnarly things. And while equipment's really good, equipment equipment is very important in this game. But you kind of continually get equipment as you progress through the story. Well, not the story, but as you progress through Evil Falls, you get through the Evil Falls store. So you are picking up this equipment constantly throughout, right? But the thing is one thing that is very much, there are two really, really, really limited things. There are 2 parts of your character that are incredibly important, but they are very limited in resources, and they are very hard to kind of get. The first is badges, which, I mean, that's why I'm saying you need to pick the 5, and then you just start putting your points into your characters. The second is going to be these artifacts. Now, what I want to show about these artifacts, so we're going to go over here to the artifact location. So we go to collection. These are the artifacts that are currently in the game. Now, you can only have 1 artifact on each character, which means this is new information to me, because again, I haven't pulled more than 1 artifact. So like I haven't pulled 2 lassos, right? So if we look at this, they're limited in this, like there's only a total of 18 artifacts. There's going to be 19 pretty soon with the Green Lantern artifact, right? So the way I am currently operating at this given moment is that you want to you really want to pick up these artifacts, like as many as you can. And granted, I would say they are going to release more, and they're going to get more OP as time goes on. That is just a given, which also means you don't need to invest too much into this. I would say, as just a general, free to play player, Dolphin, my best bet and my way of thinking is do a rotation on these, like full 80. Which means you need 16,000 gems. Now, why would I say do a full 80? Because that's going to give you 1 elite artifact. You got to pick any elite, and you got to pick any epic. And in doing so, you might be able to pull up another epic along the way. And that would be really beneficial, because these epic ones are like legitimately game changers. Elite are very good, but epic will legitimately, they give not only a ton of HP, they give some really broken skills that add craziness, like the lasso makes the first instance of damage on an ultimate. The first ultimate you do auto crit, right? Like on Wonder Woman, that's legitimately, this is meant for Wonder Woman, but you can apply it to any attack character. As time goes on, maybe they release more, maybe they're like Hal Jordan's ring, and it's perfect for Hal Jordan. It's just as you throw, each instance of ult becomes stronger and stronger. I mean, I could see them doing that one. I think that actually would be most likely probable, something like that. And it would just break Hal Jordan. But the moral of it is that, and ranking these up and getting dupes of them is fine, but you're not, it's just more stats, right? But you also need to start realizing, we need to balance out that you have to get these characters. Rank 8 is great, right? That's where you want to get these characters to right now, but you also want to start pushing them past that point too, right? So you need to balance out this artifact versus character pulling. There's a lot of give and take depending on where your account is. So for instance, in my account, where am I at right now? What am I going to be doing exactly in the future, right? And what I'm going to be doing here is that I've got my 4 at rank 8. I'm waiting for Mr. Terrific, and I'm going to then boost him up to rank 8. Once I get all 5 of these characters to rank 8, then I will start. Personally, I'm going to then continue to work on their ranks, getting their rank up in the weekly recruitments, while also using the mother box right here, epic recruitments, as I get them to hopefully pull more Jessicas and Johns. My goal is to continue as I'm trying to summon for Mr. Terrific to then, when he comes out, because I'm going to be saving these for the featured recruitment, because my goal is to pull two Mr. Terrifics, hopefully, that I can then use those I can save resources with my legendary resource shard, like 8th shards, for the ones that I really want to save for is Mr. Terrific, and I want to save it for Hal Jordan, because those are going to be the two hardest ones to get in the future, especially Hal. Hal is actually going to be the primary target of my 8th medals, because there's no way to get his shards in the game, right? I can only get them through pulling. And so that means that I need to be conserving my 8th medals all for Hal. There's no rank up. You can't pull Hal. I mean, unless I do something weirdness with the featured recruitment, he's my investment character. He is who all my resources are going to, in the sense of the free to play 8th medals, the legendary shards, all of that from this point on is going to Hal, so that I can keep ranking him up on the side while I am every week pulling for Jess and John, so I can get more copies of them and just continually rank them up, while also simultaneously getting my free to play points, my Lex Luthor, and then because Mr. Terrific is a support, I'm not as worried about his stats as much as I'm worried about my other attackers and tanks. The order, you should have your first attacker needs to be really strong, and then have a very strong tank. And then you're gonna have secondary and third, then, for instance, on my team, my primary tank is going to be Lex Luthor because of his shields, right? And then the secondary tank will be John Stewart. But both of them are incredibly important. What's the most important in this team is making sure that Hal is doing as much damage as possible, because if he can't keep up the damage, then the other team is just going to inevitably wear me down, or I'm not going to be able to beat the time counts, the counter on it, right? So here is my general consensus on how you should summon. I'm trying to keep this as quick and concise, but explain my thinking behind this as much as possible. So it really comes down to, what do you need? If you do not have if you're using a team of epics and they are not at rank 8, you should really be investing your resources to get them to rank 8 in the epic recruitment. The reason I'm very cautious of the weekly recruitment, I used to think, this is a really good idea. It is and it is not. You're not guaranteed the legendary here. What I mean by guaranteed, the one you want. Now, it's good and bad at the same time. Would I love some Supergirl, and then I can run a Frostbite team? Heck yeah. Would I love, the old Superman, the tank Superman? Yeah, I could run the burn team. Would I like the Blue Beetle so I can, round out my block team? Yeah, that'd be great, right? But then I come into this other issue at hand right now, is that that's a lot of resources, right? You're doing a summon and a half, this is technically 2.5 summons on the epic recruitment. Now, I think you can slow down a little bit on the epic recruitment once you get the characters you want to rank 8. It is all about getting to rank 8. You need to get to rank 8. Rank 8 will dramatically open up your character's ability to do more things, because then that gives them the ability to equip an artifact. You cannot equip artifacts if a character's not rank 8. So, with that said, the most important thing is to make sure your core epics are rank 8 on your team. If they are far behind, then I would be sitting in the epic recruitment. If you're sitting at a rank 6 right now and you're like, this is the character I want to use, it's what happened earlier this week for me with John Stewart. And I did 2 weekly recruitments, and then I did a few of these mother box, right? But at the same time, that, and then I got very, very lucky and I pulled the second John, and then I was at 8. And so I actually just full stopped. I was like, great, I don't need to push on from this. I'm not going to reset the desired. That's a waste of crystals in this case. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to say, okay, now what I need to do is I need to start accumulating resources again, save up. I'm going to wait for Mr. Terrific and get him to rank 8. And then I will decide what I'm going to do next. Do I start pushing more of these characters to rank 9, rank 10, right? You know what I mean? Like 9 isn't so, but here's the thing is that once you get these characters to rank 8, the next thing you need to think about doing is you need to then invest in artifacts. Now, I'm going to say this, and this might be a hot take, but these rare artifacts are good for like side characters, like not your main team. Your main team right now, I know you're looking at this, you're saying, well, you got them on that. Yes, I do. But that's also because I'm waiting. I'm saving right now my summons for, I'm going to stream later today. But well, on this video, it'll be a couple days. I will have streamed a couple days ago, and I'm going for the new Green Lantern artifact. I want that artifact to put on Jessica Cruz. Because when she ults the first time, she's going to put a shield on everybody. She's getting damage amplification, damage mitigation. It's really nice. And so I just think she's a really good character. I'm either going to put that on her or I'm going to put it on John. I'm still trying to figure out which one. The only thing with John Stewart is that, so my goal moving forward, so I'm going to show you what my goal is. I'm going to do 40 more. I'm going to try to do maybe about 80 to 120 more artifact summons to maybe get 2 legendaries, to get the auto legendaries. I may or may not do that. I might just do a full 80 and then just call it there. Because I'm going to give this one to Lex Luthor because I get to choose in 40. I'm going to give this one to Lex Luthor. This one, because what it does is it's going to, when someone's HP drops below 20%, 25%, they will then be healed up 20%. It's a really good one for John Stewart. I want to put that on the tank. So this one will get moved to John Stewart. This one will get put on Lex Luthor, right? And then the thought that I have, because I'm leaving Lasso on Hal until a better one comes out. Then what I'm doing is I'm going to take this off of Jess. I'm going to put the Green Lantern artifact on her. Now, why I don't need something for Mr. Terrific is because I got this thing, and this thing is busted for Mr. Terrific. I mean, it's busted for any support that is giving a shield, a heal, on their, it busted for this. I think this is probably one of the most busted. This is a super busted elite, in that it increases healing, shielding, and shielding damage on someone's ult by 25%. But then the next basic that they do once you start getting its skill level up is that when it will then now stun someone, 100% stand to stun on the next basic. That's super amazing. So why I'm saying all of this is I already have, like, I'm probably only going to do about 80. The reason I'm going to do 80, I'm going to show you here so I can be as transparent about that summoning process. You don't need to invest a crazy amount into artifact. I thought it was going to be a lot more investment into it than I originally thought. It's not as much as I originally thought. I'm going to go, well, I mean, it's still a lot. I'm not trying to downplay how much, you know, that's 16,000 crystal. That's a lot, right? But the moral here is then I'm going to go to 40. I'm going to get that. I get to pick my epic. I'm going to pick that, the Atlantean helm, put that on Lex. I'm going to move the Venom canisters over to Hal. I'm then going to go to the next 40 again to get the next epic. Hopefully tonight after they update, then the Green Lantern artifact is sitting in there. I'm going to pick the Green Lantern artifact. I'm going to throw that on Jess. And then I've already got the Mr. Terrific artifact ready to go. So then do I need to summon more? No, because what's going to end up happening in this game is they're going to start releasing more and more artifacts. They already are releasing a new artifact. They're going to release more. These artifacts will be, like, there will be better versions for other characters. There will be new bests and slots. I'm going to be just saving. Then I'm just going to save up these resources as time goes on. And as they, you know, release more characters, I will then wait and then give them that, right? So that's why I'm saying do 80, right? Just do a nice quick 80, get to your first epic, and guaranteed epic. Pick whichever one that you think you want for your characters that works best. I think the last was probably the one you want to go with. Luckily, I pulled that one. You might even, like me, get lucky and pull one along the way. And then that's awesome, right? And so you don't need to put a lot. Like I would say go for one rotation and call it a day. Use what you got, put them on your characters, be done with it, right? You get to pick one epic, you get to pick one elite. Cool. Find the ones that work best for your characters and apply them. So I might do a video on what are the best artifacts for which characters currently, and I can keep updating that tier list. I think I will actually maybe later do a video on this. I think a lot that would be helpful for people. But that's what I'm thinking here, because now what I'm coming back to the realization is that you really need to invest in getting shards, because I didn't know that there was a rank 15. There is rank 15. It's represented by blue. If you saw my Mr. Terrific video, it goes beyond red and it will go to blue. God knows how many shards you need to get there, right? And the artifacts are only going to be stat. Granted, rank is also just stat increases, but we're talking, it's pretty big in comparison to just the artifacts. And this is why I'm saying you kind of need to balance out how you're summoned. Right? So for me, I've got my rank 8. So now where am I going to sit with my summons? I'm going to go to the weekly recruitment for me personally, because I also am a content creator. And as a content creator, I want to get more legendaries so that I can also, not while I'm working on my main 5, I'm putting some secondary resources into, like, for instance, what do I mean by put secondary resources? Okay. That's, again, what I mean by this, putting secondary resources in. So see, Hal's in the purple, means he's in tier 2. Lex is in tier 2. John is in tier 2. Right now, I'm investing in what I mean by tier 2 is the badge emblems. I'm going to be now investing all of my blue badge emblems into Jessica Cruz till she gets to tier 2. Great. Now, and then I'm going to do that again for Mr. Terrific and get him up to tier 2, because these are pretty big stat bonuses that they give as you rank these things up. And so once I've done that, boom, I've got my 5 characters. I'm just ranking them up in their badges, and I'm getting that stuff taken care of. Now I'll start thinking about the next characters. When you get to that point where you're like 5 characters, they're kind of already, like, I have them kind of, I'm working on them in order. I'm giving them their badges. I'm able to start putting some points into their artifacts to rank them up. I'm kind of got like a nice little thing going where these resources are not taking away from your other characters. Like, what the biggest thing you want to avoid doing is, if a resource could go into your main 5 and you put it into one of your secondary characters, that is bad. That means that, yeah, maybe it's only quote unquote 1 level for your main character, or something. I'm using this as a bad example, but it's only 1 level. Yeah, it's still 1 level for the character that might be able to push that character to become stronger, or strong enough so that you could push further in the story. See what I mean? All about progression here and maximizing efficiency in that progression. But like, for instance, let's just say all of them now, like all 5 of my characters, they're now in tier 2, right? My main person I'm working on in tier 2 right now is going to be Hal Jordan. I need him doing as much damage as possible. Then I'm working on, I think I'm actually going to rotate out and make John, because he just becomes so much of a beast when he gets his full badge. Like, it's kind of nutty. While Lex is really good, John legitimately just changes, like, becomes a whole new character in a point that, like, it's a little bit more important to me. Well, because again, Lex is just a stat boost. It's a good stat boost, and his rank 3 of his badge is very, very good. It's not as mandatory as John's is legitimately mandatory. Like, I'm actually contemplating if I just go up to full rank 2 for Hal, because that 10% bonus when he kills someone is dope, but his rank 3 is also phenomenal too. But those are my 2 characters that I'm going to be maximizing right now. And then we'll come in, then comes Lex, then comes Jess, then comes Mr. Terrific. But what I'm just trying to get at is, you're seeing how I'm operating on 5 characters, and then once I've got them, now I put my resources into the other characters that don't interfere with my resource management of my main 5. Right? Because I also need to be balancing out, as I'm now summoning, I need to be thinking about, I'm always trying to get more shards for Hal, yes, Hal, but I mean for John and Jess. They are my other 2 characters that I need to be constantly pushing as I move forward. Because especially John, more so than I would even say Jess, because he needs to be able to tank. He needs to take those hits. Because if he dies, then they're getting full access to beating up my back line, and that's not good either, right? Because then my DPSers can't do their job. So thinking of that, that's how I'm processing the planning and my summoning moving forward. I really hope, and I know this might be a hot take, that Mr. Terrific is a legendary, because then I can use these encrypted tokens, super encrypted tokens on him. And again, maybe this is just a me thing, but like, I'm kind of just holding on to these, and I don't want to pull right now because I don't want Superman. I have a dupe of him, actually. Just, I don't need more. So if I accidentally pulled him, I'm screwing up my pity counter, and that would be bad, right? Because then that's not what I want to do. So I'm saving right now. My current pity is at 25, right? So I'm saving that pity counter, which isn't that much right now, but I'm still saving it. I have no desire right now to pull the other two epics. And I'm not going to pull for Guy, right? So I'm trying to save all of my resources and allocate them as the Mr. Terrific comes out. Because my goal is, once he comes out that day, I'll probably stream, and then I'm going to try to pull for an extra copy and get him immediately to rank 8, right? With a good artifact attached to him, so he can just literally be slotted into my team, and we're just going to start boogieing through the story further, right? That's the goal of what I'm trying to do, to continually push that story further and further and further and further and further, so that I am progressing as fast as possible and maximizing my resources. Okay. Hope this helps. Been thinking about this. I actually remade this video because I didn't like the first iteration of it. But I think I spent too much time talking about summon for artifacts. I don't think you need to spend as much time. I think it's like one rotation, get some decent epic, maybe hopefully pull like one or two, like if you can maybe get an extra epic, not extra epic, extra elite. You know what I mean? Because the main thing that I'm just gonna say, last thing before I stop and before I move on, I'm really trying to say is that these rare ones are not going to cut it. They don't come with an ability. So if I look at this one right now, it's just a stat bonus. It's not actually adding an ability, right? Like, I really want and this it doesn't seem like a lot, but when he drops float 25% HP and then he gets a 20% HP boost, that's huge. That actually has saved my many runs already for my team, because Lex was about to die, and then boom, he's back to 45% HP or 42 or whatever, like, right? Like, he's back. He is now almost close to half HP versus being under 25% HP. And he's operating, and, you know, because it's on a tank, they're going to have more defense, more HP. And yeah, that's dope. That makes him way better than he originally was, right? But you need to think about, okay, again, I'm saying your main 5, you should have at least an epic, elite, purple on your main characters. You should have at least an elite on as, and I would try to really push for that. And that might mean you need to go a little bit more than that. Maybe you need to summon just a little bit more. But then, because like, my Hal is auto critting on his first damage instance. It's so impactful when I'm fighting right now. When I get Jess, when the Green Lantern artifact comes out, I'm going to put that on her. She's going to be giving team, like, there's going to be further shield modification. Like, she's going to give everyone these massive shields, right? I'm going to be shifting over and giving Hal that Venom, so he's going to be way harder to kill. What that's going to do is end up making his passive way easier to build up, and then he goes into his crazy, like, I'm going to cast my free ult mode. He becomes an absolute monster once he does that. And then with Mr. Terrific, once I get that him to rank 8, then it's like I can add in this that one that increases shielding, healing, and damage. And then he does a stuff. It's like, so there, and then those get on the 5 right there. Boom. Now I can start working on if I want to start, I don't want to really summon for artifacts that crazy much, because there's like the ones that are out right now, I don't think are the most amazing at this given moment. I think there's some really good ones, but I have a feeling they're going to be like, this new Green Lantern one is broken, right? And then it's just like, imagine and I'm pretty sure that's an elite one. Imagine the new epics that are coming out. It's like, oh my God, can you imagine how broken some of these things are going to be when they start releasing them? And it's just like, yeah, I'm going to wait. And I'm going to try to save as much as I can in those, so that way I can give the best in slots to the characters that, like, again, I'm going to wait for the best in slots, right? And that way, the ones that I have built up, I just give them to the other characters. Like, let's just say a new one comes out, it's perfect for Hal Jordan. I just give that artifact to Wonder Woman. Now she's got her best in slot. Okay. That's my plans. I hope this helps. See everyone later. Have a great day. And remember, failing is just your first attempt at learning.